Members, are there any other amendments? Okay, we do have some folks. I do want to vote on this. I know the hour's late. We do have some folks from the audience who have waited a long time. With your indulgence, committee members, we will allow up to 1 minute, and we will be strict on the time limit, up to 1 minute only for public comment. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 7 minutes, members. Just 7 minutes for public comment. I wish we could give more, but I'm already over the time that I told you that we would meet, and for that I do apologize. I greatly appreciate your patience. When I call your name, if you would, please use the microphone in the back. Sergeant at Arms will be there to help you. Please tell us who you are and what organization you're with, or who you represent, if anybody. And the first person that we're going to recognize is Mark Swallow. Sir, welcome to House Elections Committee. Thank you for your patience. We greatly appreciate you being here.
Thank you. My name is Mark Swallow. I'm with Democracy Out Loud.
Make sure that mic's on. Members, can you all hear him? You might have to bend down into the mic, sir. You're.
Okay. My name is Mark Swallow. I'm with Democracy Out Loud. I'm pleased to see some of the concerns that I raised when I spoke at the Senate committee about this bill have been addressed in this PCS. In section 163-166.40, page 14, there's a change requiring voters to state their political party affiliation even for non-primaries. And you just heard about the observers can move about the voting enclosure. So this gives the observer a chance to hear what the voter's party is. And if it's a opposite party, they could follow those voters into the voting area and potentially intimidate them. So I think you need to change that wording. I've noticed that this bill expands a lot of the rights about observers and runners. And I think you need to spend more time about the rights of the voters. Also, there's significant responsibilities assigned to the chief judge to sponsor observers and runners. And that's going to take away from their time to do what they need to be doing. They need to be doing about making sure that we have free and fair elections. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We greatly appreciate your patience and for being here. Next on our list is Mr. Andy Jackson. Sir, welcome to House Elections, and you're recognized for a time not to exceed 1 minute. Thank you.
Support of this bill. Appreciate many of the changes. This is going to help reform both how elections are conducted and how folks are able to vote. I especially appreciate some of the clarifications to the rights and restrictions on what observers can do. This and a host of other aspects of this bill is going to help make our elections more secure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Joanne Empey, if you would please use the microphone in front, and you're recognized for a time not to exceed 1 minute. Welcome to House Elections.
Thank you. Joanne Empey with North Carolina Election Integrity Team. I overall support the bill, but I do have a few suggestions. I think citizen input to the voter rolls is important. In 2021, I provided lists to Wake and Johnson County Board of Elections. They were appreciative and they made changes based on what was submitted to them. In 2023, the State Board of Elections is now not allowing any citizen input to be used by the County Board of Elections. If the voter rolls were in better shape, I would agree with that. But I'm going to provide a document which shows that there are many nonsensical entries onto the voter rolls. First initials and only a single letter as a first name and a last name. Names that are switched, first name and last name. Nonsensical middle initials such as C520 as a middle name. Many duplicates due to hyphenations, misspellings, etc. I would also like to support access to cast vote records. H770. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments and for being here. Jim Womack, if you would please, sir, you're recognized at that microphone to speak up to 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jim Womack. I'm the president of the North Carolina Election Integrity Team, and I'm here speaking on behalf in support of the bill. Senate Bill 747, the House PCS version thereof, is a good bill. There's a lot more that can be done to make it even better, but we are very satisfied with parts of it. The retention of election records for 22 months is very important. Providing clarifications on poll observer authority is also very important. However, the poll observers, there are a lot more objective measures that could be used or introduced that would strengthen the poll observer ability. The most egregious thing, though, I think that in the bill is the new Section 17, which takes away from the political parties the ability to close their primaries. And I think that is a substantive change, which was not really necessary. And hopefully that'll be removed at some point. The bill fails to also authorize the release of cast vote records from machines, which is really important. 50% of America doesn't trust its elections, and the reason they don't because of transparency and accessibility, and those CVRs are really important. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. John Kane, you're recognized for a time not to exceed 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. John Kane. I want to say this bill looks like something that you would expect out of a bipartisan, evenly matched legislature, not a Republican supermajority. The fact that there is language in there that removes from the state parties the ability to determine whether their elections are opened or closed is an egregious misstep. I would encourage each of you to look at the live litigation right now in the state of Colorado over this exact issue. Colorado is a bright blue state now, and part of the reason is that they have open primaries and they cannot get a conservative slate on the ballot. This legislation, removing this from the parties, will ensure that's the path for North Carolina under a supermajority, veto-proof Republican legislature. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Melissa Crone, recognized for a time not to exceed 1 minute.
Thank you. Melissa Price Crom, North Carolina Voters for Clean Elections. First, I want to point you to the signature and matching pilot. We have concerns about this because who's going to pay for the pilot? When you go talk to appropriations, you might want to ask them for about $2 million there. Also, we have concerns around the extra 5 days to challenge a ballot after the election. Allowing 5 full days after an election to challenge a ballot will promote candidates and campaigns with close elections to challenge a large number of ballots with or without merit. Lastly, I want to talk to you about the voter assistance logs. There are enough barriers for people with disabilities to vote as is. You don't need to add any more. The Senate had a version that said a near relative would be exempt from these voter assistance logs. I asked you put those back in and possibly also add in an exception for people with disabilities. My sister is profoundly deaf. I have to go vote with her every time. There's no good reason that I should have to sign a voter assistance log. That creates a barrier for people with disabilities, and I would ask that you take that out. Thank you.
Thank you. And lastly, Sarah LaVere, recognized for a time not to exceed 1 minute.
Here I am holding you guys between going home. I am Sarah LaVere. I am a local elections director in Brunswick County. I have 17 years of election administration experience. I'm currently the president of the North Carolina Association of Directors of Elections. I'm not here to talk for or against. I just want to continue to encourage you all who make the decisions and make the laws about election administration to continue to have dialogue with your local county elections directors. We know how these things actually play out when they come to our offices, and so I do appreciate those that have been willing to have that dialogue. And that is all. I'm not going to take any more of your time. Thank you.
Thank you, and we appreciate your patience and for being here. Members will hear from Senator, yes, Representative Harrison. Quick comment? Oh,
Mr. Chair, are we going to have a chance to debate the bill? Because we haven't debated it yet. Is that, you going to give us a minute to do that, or?
I will listen to your comments.
Well, no, I appreciate that, and I don't know if Senator Daniel wants to speak first, or I just.
Go ahead.
Okay,
You've got the
okay.
floor.
I raised issues that I thought needed some amending, and I will hold some of those for the floor. But I did listen to my local elections director, and I've listened to the advocates, and I've listened to folks who have a lot of concerns about this bill. I am grateful to, as I mentioned, to the leadership, both the House and the Senate, for making several of the changes that we had suggested. But I still think that this bill, bottom line, is going to make it harder for individuals to vote. I think we, Representative Dahl and Ball, both mentioned the fact that we are inadequately funded.